Most people think success is loud. Big launches, big announcements, big personalities. But some of the most powerful businesses in the world grow quietly. No hype, no spotlight, no noise. And that's exactly why you've never noticed them. Because while you were paying attention to what looks successful, someone else was building something that didn't need attention to grow, which reveals something uncomfortable. What if visibility isn't what creates wealth? What if it's what distracts you from it? Think about how success is usually presented to you. You see headlines, funding rounds, viral moments, massive valuations. You see people talking about disruption, innovation, changing the world. And your brain starts associating success with visibility, with attention, with being seen. So naturally, you begin to believe something subtle. If no one is talking about it, it probably isn't that valuable. But here's where things get interesting. Some of the most profitable companies in the world don't look impressive from the outside. They don't go viral. They don't chase attention. They don't need validation because they're not built to be seen. They're built to be used. And that difference changes everything. Most people chase attention before they build value. They want more followers, more recognition, more visibility, because attention feels like progress. It feels like movement. It feels like you're getting somewhere. But attention is a very misleading signal because attention doesn't always mean value, and value doesn't always require attention. The company you've never noticed understood this early. Instead of asking, how do we get noticed? They asked, how do we become necessary? That single shift changed the direction completely because attention can disappear overnight, but necessity becomes embedded. There's a difference between something people like and something people rely on. Most businesses try to be liked. They want engagement. They want excitement. They want emotional reactions. But the most resilient businesses don't aim for attention. They aim for dependency. They build something people quietly return to again and again and again. No excitement, no announcement, just consistent use. The kind of product that becomes part of someone's routine, something so integrated into daily life that removing it would feel inconvenient. That's not popularity, that's utility. And utility compounds differently than attention. When a business grows through attention, its growth is visible. Spikes, drops, trends. But when a business grows through utility, its growth becomes invisible. It doesn't spike. It spreads quietly, one user at a time, one workflow at a time, one integration at a time, until one day, it's everywhere. But no one remembers when it got there. This company didn't explode. It expanded, slowly, deliberately, and almost silently, because it wasn't designed for virality. It was designed for permanence. Here's something most people misunderstand. Boring businesses often win, not because they're exciting, but because they're essential. While people chase ideas that feel impressive, the smartest builders often choose problems that feel uninteresting. Logistics, infrastructure, tools, systems, things most people ignore because they don't look glamorous. But here's the hidden advantage. The less attention a space gets, the less competition it attracts, which means the people who do focus there have more room to dominate. This company didn't try to be impressive. It tried to be useful, and usefulness scales quietly. When something is constantly in your life without demanding attention, it builds a different kind of trust. Not emotional trust, functional trust. You don't think about it. You don't question it. You just use it. That's one of the strongest positions a business can have, because trust built through consistency is stronger than trust built through persuasion. This company didn't convince people to trust it. It became reliable enough that trust happened automatically. And once that happens, growth becomes easier, because people don't switch away from things that simply work. Most people think leverage comes from scale, more users, more exposure, more reach. But there's another form of leverage. Integration. When a product becomes part of systems, instead of just something people use occasionally, it stops being optional. It becomes infrastructure. This company didn't just build a product. It positioned itself inside other systems, inside workflows, inside operations, which means its growth wasn't dependent on marketing. It was built into usage. And once something becomes infrastructure, it becomes very hard to replace. Here's the part most people miss. The signals you've been trained to follow are often the wrong ones. Visibility, hype, virality. They feel like indicators of success, but they're often just indicators of attention. And attention is temporary. While you've been learning to chase what looks successful, others have been building what actually is. Quiet systems, reliable tools, invisible infrastructure. Things that don't need to be seen to grow. So the real difference isn't intelligence. It isn't funding. It isn't even opportunity. It's what you choose to optimize for. Attention or utility. Visibility or necessity. Most people build things that look good from the outside. A smaller group builds things that work from the inside. And over time, those choices compound. One creates noise. The other creates leverage. One depends on being seen. The other grows even when no one is looking. And once you understand that, you start noticing something strange. Some of the most powerful systems in your life are the ones you barely think about because they don't ask for your attention. They've already earned your dependence. Which leads to a different question. Instead of asking, how do I get noticed? You start asking, what can I build that people quietly rely on? Because the businesses that change your life aren't always the ones you see, they're the ones you use. And the moment you understand that, you start playing a completely different game.